Welcome. Please comment where you're watching from in the world. I always tell people I'm logical. I'm a nurse in Boston. I can intubate someone half asleep. I know the signs of shock before a monitor even catches it, and nothing impresses me because I've seen too much. And yet somehow, with all that clinical instinct, I still let myself go on a Tinder date with a man who looked like he'd been assembled by the perfect boyfriend generator. Verified, 6 feet tall, finance job, crisp haircut, and a smile that looked safe enough. He messaged me immediately after we matched. Actually, he triple texted before I even answered once. Normally that's where I swipe left into the abyss, but I was exhausted coming off a night shift, brain mushy, judgment compromised. He didn't sound weird, just enthusiastic. We talked, and he jumped straight into making plans. Let's go tonight. I'll buy the tickets. I want to meet you. Zero hesitation. Zero space. But honestly, it felt flattering at the time. Like someone choosing me with conviction instead of that usual lukewarm "we'll see." Throughout the day, he kept messaging, little things, nothing deep. Told me I was cute, asked what kind of movies I liked, said he liked women with subtle confidence. He checked every box of normal. God, that word should come with a warning label. About an hour before the date, he texts. "Hey, my car's in the shop. Such bad timing. Any chance you could pick me up?" I felt that weird flick in my chest, the one that says something's off. I brush it off like an overreaction, but reply firmly. "Nope, sorry. Just Uber. I'll meet you there." He pushes again. Not aggressively, but in that manipulative politeness way. It'd really help me out. "It's not far. Come on, be sweet." Every message makes my stomach knot tighter, so I say it one more time. "Uber. Meet there." That's it. He finally backs off, and I convince myself I didn't just dodge something major. When I pull into the theater parking lot later, he's already there. I'm early, but he beat me by a few minutes. He calls me immediately. "Hey, where are you parked?" Normally we would just go inside, but I, like an idiot, suggest we hang out in my car for a bit since we're early. It sounds safer than awkwardly loitering in a lobby. I park dead center under the brightest floodlight I can find, facing the big theater doors. Families, teenagers, couples, everyone passing by in little glittery snapshots of normal life. I watch him walk toward my car. He looks exactly like his photos. Clean hoodie, neat haircut, good sneakers. Smells like expensive cologne when he slides into the passenger seat. He buckles his seatbelt, which I weirdly take as a green flag. We make small talk. Work, pets, weather. Nothing alarming. I almost loosen up. Then I ruin the moment by remembering my cold sore. It's tiny, but it's there, and as a nurse, I feel morally obligated to disclose. So I just blurt it out. "I have a cold sore right now. It's contagious. If you want to leave, I get it." He laughs like belly laughs. "You're adorable." "I don't care. I want to kiss you anyway." Before I can even process the sentence, he leans in and kisses me. Hard. Too hard. Not a first date kiss, an anniversary kiss. His hand clamps onto my leg, fingers digging. My whole body stiffens. I pull back, try to smoothly pivot. "So your car. What's going on with it?" That's when his whole vibe twitches sideways. He shifts in his seat, scratches the back of his neck, looks everywhere except at me. "Yeah, so, it's not actually in the shop. I lost my license on the 4th. Got a DUI. He says it like he misplaced a library book. I stare at him. "So you lied?" He shrugs. "I mean, basically." My instincts start filing red flags at lightning speed. He tries to kiss me again. I dodge. He tries to put my hand somewhere it absolutely shouldn't be 5 minutes into knowing a person. I pull away fast. "Hey, no, I'm not here for that." The temperature in the car drops. Not physically, just his whole energy. His face hardens, jaw tight, eyes flat. "So what are you here for?" he snaps. "You talked to me all day. You said you wanted to see me." "No," I correct, voice steady and calm the way it gets at work when someone's about to escalate. "I said I wanted to go to the movies." He scoffs. "Girls like you always do this." I go quiet. I know this behavior pattern. The shift from charm to bitterness. The entitlement. The resentment simmering under the surface. Then he says, casual as hell, "You know, I could kill you right now and take your car. You've got a nice car." He laughs. I don't. The air goes razor sharp. Someone walks past the back of my car. I focus on the movement like it's a lifeline. He keeps talking like he's joking. Seriously though, feel how dark it is back there. He nods toward the back end of the lot, where the lights don't reach. "We should move there. Could have privacy." "No," I say instantly. "I'm good here." He He tries again. Come on. It's bright here. People walking around. Annoying. That's why I like it. And finally, it clicks for him. I'm not moving the car. I'm not going anywhere dark. I'm not giving him whatever he came for. He switches tactics. Mopes. Sulks. Tells me I led him on, that he wasted time and money, that I made him feel stupid. I apologize, strategically, not sincerely. The escalating is muscle memory for me. Keep him calm until you're safe. He suggests seeing the movie anyway. I'd checked earlier. We would have been the only 2 people in that theater. No chance. Eventually, with the heaviness of someone denied a prize, he orders an Uber. Will you wait with me? He asks. Yes, I say, because I'm not pushing my luck now. We sit for 5 long, silent minutes until his ride pulls up. He gets out without a goodbye, without a look back, without anything human. Just a door slam and footsteps fading. I sit there under harsh white lights, gripping the steering wheel, heart thudding. My brain does the last morbid inventory. Could he have dropped something in the car? A tracker? Touched something he shouldn't have? I don't know. I only know this, that bulletproof nurse instinct people always congratulate me for. It saved my life that night. And that was the last first date I ever went on in a parked car. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. See cookie preferences. Let me start by saying this. I am not hard to impress, but I am very easy to disappoint. So when this man had been begging to take me out for almost 2 years straight, I finally said yes. Not because I was suddenly interested, but because curiosity is a disease. And TikTok kept telling me, give the man in your DMs a chance. That could be your husband. That was my first mistake. Listening to strangers on the internet instead of my own common sense. We met on Facebook. He'd been consistent, too consistent. Every few months, a polite little message. Hey, how you been? Let me take you out. I always curved him. He wasn't my type. I like my men dark skin, dark energy, dark sense of humor. He was light bright, beige personality, beige spirit. But eventually I said, fuck it. One date won't kill me. He picked me up early in the afternoon. I step outside my Manhattan apartment building and immediately noticed the car. White 2020 BMW, red interior, clean like it had never seen a grocery bag. He'd posted this car all over Facebook like it was his child. I get in, and he's grinning like he just won something. Nice car, I say because I'm polite. Oh yeah, he says. Just got it. That should have been the end of the flex. It wasn't. I told him I wanted to go to Coney Island first. I love amusement parks. I love chaos. I love rides that feel like they're one bolt away from killing you. And at night, when it's 21 plus and everybody's drunk, even better. He agrees, but I can already feel him doing mental math. The drive is long. Manhattan to Brooklyn, then deeper into Brooklyn. Traffic. Honking. Silence broken only by him, sighing like driving is something happening to him, not something he chose to do. We finally get to Coney Island, and immediately, the parking situation becomes a problem. There's no way we're finding free parking, I tell him. Just pay for the lot. No, he says immediately. I'm not paying $20 to park. $20. For a man who begged me for 2 years. He starts circling the neighborhood. Once. Twice. 10 times. I'm watching the sun go down. Watching families leave. Watching my patience evaporate. Bro, I say finally, you've been driving for 30 minutes. You could have paid and been done. He shrugs. It's the principle. Principle my ass. Then he starts asking questions. How much are the rides? How much do people usually spend? I tell him straight up. If you spend like $100 for both of us, we're good. You would have thought I told this man to sell a kidney. $100, he says, eyes wide. For rides? Yes. Rides. At an amusement park. On a date you asked for. We find another sign. $10 parking for 4 hours. I point. That one. He scoffs. Nah, not paying that either. At this point, we've been circling for nearly an hour. I'm irritated, hungry, cold, and honestly no longer interested in Coney Island or him. Let's just get dinner, I say. I'm over this. He perks up immediately. Dinner is cheaper than fun. We pick a spot in Brooklyn. Cute place. Not fancy, not trashy. We sit down and I'm trying, really trying to enjoy myself. Conversation is fine. Not amazing, but fine. We order. Here's exactly what happened, because I will never forget it. I ordered 1 drink. I ordered 1 appetizer. I ordered one entree. He ordered 2 drinks. He ordered 2 appetizers. That's it. The food comes. We eat. It's good. I'm starting to relax again, thinking maybe the parking thing was just a weird fluke. Then the bill comes. $105.86, including gratuity. That is a steal in New York City. The waiter sets the check down. I reach for my phone, ready to send a thanks but no thanks text to my group chat when this man pulls out his calculator. His calculator. On his phone. In public. He starts whispering numbers. Okay, you had 1 drink, that's 12, 1 appetizer, that's 14, your entree was 27. I feel heat crawl up my neck. The table next to us is staring. The waiter is standing there, pen in hand, watching this man itemize a date he begged for. I am humiliated. I want to disappear. I want the ground to open up and swallow me whole. So I do the only thing that preserves my dignity. I pull out my debit card and say loud and clear, "Put it all on my card." His eyes light up. "Oh wow," he says. "That's so nice of you. Nobody's ever done that for me." I don't even look at him. I'm already texting my friends under the table. I just paid for my own date. I hate it here. We leave the restaurant. He doesn't open the car door for me. Strike number 57. We get in, and there's silence. Thick, awkward silence. My nails are tapping against my phone screen because I'm furious and trying not to explode. Then he says it. "Can I ask you something?" I already know I'm about to be mad. "Do you usually help with gas money on dates?" I turn slowly, like a horror movie character. "Gas money?" I repeat. "Yeah," he says. "Manhattan's far. I drove a lot." I laugh. Not because it's funny. Because if I don't laugh, I'll scream. "You begged me to go out," I say. "You picked me up. I paid for dinner. And now you're asking for gas money." "Well," he shrugs, "it adds up." What adds up is the audacity. The drive home is quiet. We pull up to my building, and instead of stopping, he circles the block. I look at him. "What are you doing?" "Oh, I thought maybe I could come upstairs," he says. "We could talk a little." Talk. In my house. After I paid. After the calculator. After the gas money comment. "No," I say. Flat. Final. He drops me off. I get out without a goodbye. I never spoke to him again. And the scariest part isn't that he was cheap. It's that he felt entitled to my time, my money, my space, because he drove a BMW and asked me out. That date didn't almost kill me. But it taught me something just as important. Some men won't hurt you with violence. They'll drain you slowly, embarrass you publicly, and then ask for gas money on the way out. And that's terrifying in its own way. Okay, babes, gather round because I have a story that still makes me cringe, so hard I almost invert. Like inside-out shame. But also, a serve. Because the way I handled it in the end, honestly inspirational. So this all starts last winter in Jackson Hole, which, if you don't know, is the type of place where everyone looks like they own 3 Patagonia jackets and a chalet. Anyway, I'm there minding my business, living my best freezing little South African life. And this man, let's call him Mr. Mountain Hero, didn't even meet me in real life first. No, he found my TikTok. My TikTok brew. Slid into my Instagram DMs like a man on a mission. And for a month, he pursued me. Hard. I mean, the confidence? Insane. Delusion? Also insane, but we'll get to that. He tries to fly me out to Atlanta at one point, but I'm traveling, life is happening, vibes are vibes. We reconnect in summer, and he asks to visit me. I'm like, okay, fine, but I'm at a point where I want a real relationship. No games, no half effort, no hey stranger texts every 3 weeks. So I tell him straight, if you're not serious, please do not waste my time. And this man goes, that's exactly why I'm here. I see something with you. I could see forever with you. I should have known. Anytime a man starts talking forever, before he even sees what your kitchen looks like, run. But anyway, he shows up, we spend 3 days together, and honestly, we had a great time. He meets my friends, charms the absolute hell out of everyone. He tells them I'm the most amazing person he's ever met, that he could see himself moving to Jackson just to be with me. I know. The future faking was Olympic level. And then, babes, then I made my first mistake. I discovered that on Instagram, you can see who someone recently followed. I don't know if it was some glitch or the universe trying to help me, but I could see every single girl he was following in Boston. And he just so happened to be going to Boston for work. And he had invited me. And I said no. So I'm like, I download Hinge. Set location to Boston. And babes, his profile pops up immediately. Immediate match to delusion. So I call him like, hey sweetheart, care to explain? And this man acts like it's just old habits. Says he absolutely wants something with me, that he'll delete the app right now, sends me a video of himself deleting it like it's his baptism. 1 week later, he goes to a music festival. I set my Hinge to that location. Boom. The app resurrects itself like Jesus, and there he is again. I send a screenshot and say, never speak to me again. And this man breaks. I promise I won't do it again. I choose you over my old habits. I want to be exclusive. I'll drop everything. I can be the man you want. This was Academy Award level acting. Truly. We get exclusive. Yes, I know. Embarrassing. Trauma makes fools of us all. Things were good for a bit. Then I went to Cape Town in January. And suddenly he gets distant. He blames the time difference, the winter blues, his job, his niece and nephew. Every excuse under the sun that has ever existed. But my intuition? Girl, she was screaming in a thick Cape Town accent. Isla, my angel, he is cheating. Stop playing. So I ask to get on a call, thinking we'll sort it out or break up like adults. But he keeps dodging me all week leading up to Valentine's Day. Sends me a picture of his niece and nephew, but the timestamp says it was taken 2 hours before he sent it. Babes, the math wasn't matting. Then on Valentine's Day, my intuition is like, open your company Instagram account. Now, I check his profile, and babes, there is a photo of him kissing another woman. Posted that day. Captioned like a Nicholas Sparks novel. My heart did not drop, it evaporated. I call. He doesn't answer. Of course. So I send the screenshot. He replies, I'm so sorry. It's been going on a few weeks. I've been trying to tell you. You deserve someone better. Oh babes, you think that was the gag? No. She reaches out to me, because the internet did its thing. And she tells me they've been together. Ready? 3 years. No breaks. No distance. Nothing. And he cheated on her with multiple other girls too. The audacity is supernatural. I go full Cape Town petty and send him the most poetic dragging I've ever written. Stuff like, when you tell her you're a good man raised right, I want you to know every inch of you is lying. And my personal favorite, a loser is a loser. Good luck fixing that. Honestly, it was Shakespearean. This is the story of how a man in DC locked me on his balcony, like I was a stray cat he was hiding from his landlord. And listen, me, a whole Adana, graduate degree holding, first daughter of an African household woman? I should have known better. But here we are. So I had been on a few dates with this guy. Nothing too serious, but enough that when he asked if he could cook for me at his apartment, I thought, sure, why not? I mean, a man who cooks? We like that. A man who can season? Rare these days. I get to his place, and it's cute, minimalist, big windows, that typical DC. I work on the hill and have trauma aesthetic. He's cooking, it smells good, the vibe seems normal. We sit down to eat, put on a movie, all that cute little date night stuff. Then suddenly, I hear something. Not like a normal house noise. Not pipes, not HVAC, not the building settling. No. This sounded like movement. Like a soft door closing. Like someone else was in the apartment. So I pause the movie and go, did you hear that? This man's whole body, it changes. His shoulders go stiff. His face tightens. His eyes widen just a little bit. Only a second, but I catch it. My spirit catches it. He goes, let me check. And at this point I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's embarrassed. Maybe he has a dog he forgot to mention. Or a ghost. Or a roommate who walks quietly in socks. Anything but what it actually turned out to be. So he goes toward the bathroom where the sound came from. He steps inside. Comes back 2 seconds later. 2. Not even enough time to check anything. He then says, do you want to go to the balcony? And I was like, the what? Because I thought he asked if I wanted to go to the bathroom. And I was like, sir, absolutely not. Whatever is in there stays in there. But he's like, no balcony. Let's step outside. And before I can protest, this man ushers me out onto the balcony. And locks the door. Babes, it is cold. I am in a t-shirt and shorts. No shoes. No phone. No jacket. No dignity. I look at him through the glass like, hello? And he goes, just stay there for a minute. A minute? A minute where, sir? On the balcony? In the cold? With my ankles exposed? He starts pacing inside the apartment. like walking in circles, grabbing his head, looking stressed. I'm standing outside watching him melt down through the blinds like some nature documentary. And here we observe the male in a state of panic as he realizes the consequences of his poor life choices. At this point I'm like, okay, maybe he's planning a surprise? Maybe balloons are about to appear? A cake? A mariachi band? No. I was being delusional and hungry and cold. Then this man closes the blinds. As in cuts OFF my line of sight. That's when my Nigerian instincts stood up and saluted like, Adana, my dear, run. But run to where? I'm on a balcony 6 floors up. My only escape is becoming Spider-Man. After what feels like forever, probably 5, maybe 10 minutes, he finally opens the door, stepping out like some man who just finished fighting demons. He doesn't explain anything. He just stands there staring into the sunset like he's in a dramatic Nollywood closing scene. I'm like, what was that? Why did you lock me out? And he goes, it's nothing. Nothing? Locking me outside like a chicken you don't want inside the house is nothing? Nah. I tell him, clearly it is something. What's going on? But he won't talk. We go back inside and his whole vibe is off. He's checking not 1 phone, not 2, but 3. 3 phones. And I'm like, oh, so you're either a drug dealer, a scammer, or a part-time Batman. He keeps pacing and mumbling and refusing to explain anything. And then he says, you just came at the wrong time. Excuse me? What does that mean? Wrong time for what? Your secret wife? Your other girlfriend? Your kidnapped roommate? Your side hustle selling giraffe organs on the dark web? I'm asking him straight up. Is someone else living here? Does someone still have access? Is there another woman? And he's like, I can't tell you. Babes. A man who can't tell you why he locked you out on a balcony is a man you shouldn't be letting cook you rice. I tell him I'm leaving. He tries to walk me downstairs, and I say absolutely not, unless he's planning to push me down a stairwell. I walk out. As I'm leaving, I see a girl, walking away from the hallway near his door. Pretty, petite, quiet. She doesn't look at me, but she looks upset. And suddenly everything makes sense. My friends were like, girl, you better stay in contact because we need to know what the plot was. So a few days later he texts. Gives me this weak excuse about an ex-girlfriend who still had access to the apartment and just showed up. Apparently she was depressed, and that's why he hid me? Sir, are you okay? How does any of that justify locking me in the cold? I knew it was a lie. I felt it in my bones. Men lie like they're being compensated. Okay, so, here's the story about the guy who made me feel like a literal ghost at a Starbucks. And not like a cute ghost with personality. No, a ghost who doesn't even get acknowledged in her own haunting. So I'm back on the apps. God's cruelest joke. Bumble, specifically, where women have to message first. Love that for equality, hate that for my social battery. I match with this guy. Let's call him Ethan, because of course his name was something like that. Cute, normal-looking, kind of Silicon Valley vibes, but with a slightly haunted expression. Whatever, the bar is low. He messages first about instant dates. Apparently that's his thing. Like, instead of chatting for a week, he wants to meet the next day. Honestly? Fine. I like efficiency. I'm from Boston. We do not dilly-dally, we do not meander, we do not waste time. So we plan to meet at Starbucks at 2 p.m. No pressure. No dinner commitment. Just 2 caffeinated adults and God's good Wi-Fi. I get there 10 minutes early because my anxiety won't let me be anything else. I'm sitting in my car scrolling TikTok, trying to look chill while actively tracking every car that pulls in like I'm on a stakeout. Then I see him. Or at least, I'm like 96% sure it's him. He parks directly across from me. Looks at me, like full eye contact through the windshield. I wave. A cute little, hi yes I am a normal woman, wave. And he just stares, like I'm waving from behind bulletproof glass. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he didn't recognize me. Maybe he's shy. Maybe he's blind in one eye. Maybe he's shy and blind. Anything is possible. He gets out of his car and starts walking toward the Starbucks. He has to pass my car to get there. Like actually walk right next to my door. I'm opening my door because, we are 2 humans meeting each other, and I'm ready to say, hey, like a functioning person. He walks directly past me. No hello. No nod. No smile. And then, he closes the Starbucks door behind him. In my face. Like full door. Slam. Face. I'm standing there like, okay, cool. Love that for me. Maybe I am invisible now. Maybe I've popped out of existence. Maybe I died between the parking lot and the sidewalk and nobody told me. I go inside. He's already sitting. Again looking at me. I wave. Again. He just looks. Like he's studying me but not speaking. I'm starting to sweat. My Jewish anxiety is doing full algebra in my head, calculating if maybe this is a social experiment or a prank show, or if he has mistaken me for a woman who ruined his life in 2014. I go stand in line. He does not get up. He does not come over. He does not even smile. I'm like, okay, maybe he's nervous. Maybe he forgot how legs work. Maybe he thinks I'm a barista. Who knows? I order my drink, an iced chai because I don't drink coffee, and frankly, I'm not trying to give myself diarrhea on a first date. I'm waiting, scrolling Bumble because I'm bored, and I open our chat. He's already messaged me. Are you here? Sir. I waved at you twice. You closed the door on my actual face. I reply, yeah, I'm here. Just in line getting my drink. And this man does not move. Does not turn. Does not say cool. Nothing. I'm waiting for my drink for like 10 minutes because this Starbucks apparently believes in brewing tea one leaf at a time. I keep glancing at him, like maybe he's waiting until I sit down. Maybe he's giving me space. Maybe he's autistic and needs structure. I can work with that. Communicate with me. Anything. Finally, I get my drink. Walk past him. He watches me, but he does not speak. And babes, please understand, my self-esteem is not fragile. I have Jewish aunties. I have survived Boston school systems. I have dated men named Brad. I have been through it. But this was weird. So I just walk out, get in my car, take a sip of my chai like a woman who has just regained her power. I go to Bumble to tell him that was weird, and I'm not doing this. Before I can even type, he sends, well, you have a good day too. Two? You didn't even say the first part of the sentence. What is the two referring to? My leaving? My existence? My wave that you ignored twice? I finally text, hey, I tried to say hello a few times and you didn't acknowledge me, so I left. And he replies, I didn't know that was you. Babe, we matched. I look exactly like my photos. And you were looking at me like I stole something. Like what? Did he think I was my own twin? A deepfake? A hallucination? I say, okay, but I waved at you. And he goes, yeah, I didn't want to wave at a stranger. Oh, but you'll match me on Bumble and set a date? The math is so violent. I just closed the app, blocked him because the ick had reached cosmic proportions. And walking away, I realized something that made the whole thing even creepier. He was watching, the entire time, watching me approach, watching me wave, watching me order, watching me wait, watching me walk past him, all while refusing to acknowledge I was real. So, this was back when I was on Hinge. Not anymore, because I am healed and tired. I matched with this man. We'll call him Dr. Strange Behavior, because honestly the signs were there. He was smart, articulate, black man, handsome, deep voice. Used proper punctuation in texts. The bar is low but still rare. First thing I always ask men is straight up. Are you single? Do you have kids? Are you married? Have you ever been married? We don't waste time here. I am 34. I work in a lab all day. I do not have the bandwidth for foolishness. He says, I have 2 kids. I share them with my wife. She passed away, and my whole heart drops. Because I'm empathetic, right? I'm thinking, wow, this man is grieving, raising kids, trying to move forward. So I say, I'm sorry for your loss, and leave it there because I'm not trying to dig into his trauma 10 minutes into matching. We keep talking. And listen, we had chemistry. And not just cute chemistry. I'm talking molecular orbital overlap. Our conversations were about astrophysics, math puzzles, brain chemistry, the ethics of AI. I was like, oh, okay, this is an adult. We go out a few times, and it's good. He's thoughtful, funny, asks real questions. He tells me he loves science too, just never pursued it academically. I'm like, wow, a nerd. With muscles? In Atlanta? Rare Pokemon. Then one day he mentions his brother. He says, yeah, my brother's like the hood version of me. And laughs. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Because if you are the polished one, I need to see what the alternate universe version looks like. Just curiosity, nothing crazy. He tells me his brother's first and last name. Nothing else. Later that night, I'm chilling, sipping tea, mentally preparing for work the next morning, and my curiosity taps me on the shoulder like, hey girl, go look. I'm not proud, but I'm also not ashamed. I go on Facebook. Because Facebook is where everyone over 30 keeps their entire ancestry online, like a filing cabinet. I find his brother easily, and I start looking at his friends list to see if anyone else shares the same last name. Because that's how we do genealogy in 2025. I click on one person. The page is semi-private, but I can see profile photos. First pick. Kids. 4 of them. 2 of them look exactly like his 2 kids. I'm like, okay, so the brother also has kids. Makes sense. Then I click again, and it shows a woman, smiling, alive, tagged in photos with the kids, tagged standing next to the man I'm dating. I scroll down. She posted a last week, wearing a matching family shirt, captioned, "Love my husband and our 4 babies. My tea, cold. My spirit, floating above my body like, girl. My brain, running every variable. 4 kids? 4, not 2. A whole wife? Not dead, very much living, breathing, flourishing, posting selfies with soft glam. I close the app, reopen it, because maybe I hallucinated. Nope. Still alive, still married, still standing in front of their Christmas tree with matching pajamas. At this point, the scientist in me activates. Step 1, gather data. Step 2, cross-reference. Step 3, do not let emotions cloud analysis. So I go back to our messages. I'm looking for inconsistencies, for pauses, for weird phrasing, for anything that indicates deception. And babe, suddenly it all looks different. Like remembering a conversation after you put in the missing puzzle piece. The way he said passed away without details. The way he avoided talking about the kids' ages. The way he never mentioned holidays. The way he was always busy during family-oriented times. The way he only called at night. My inner truth detector is screaming. So I decide to confront him. I don't even bother building up to it. I text, "Hey, I saw your Facebook. Your wife is alive." 5 seconds later, he responds, no hesitation, no fear, no shame. Just, well, she's dead to me. Dead. To me. I had to sit down. I had to physically sit. Because the level of sociopathic calm in that sentence, the mental math alone. Sir, what do you mean dead to me? This is not Shakespeare. You cannot declare someone dead in your mind while they're alive posting birthday cakes on Facebook. I call him, because the text feels too surreal. He answers casually, like we're talking about the weather. I say, "So your wife is alive?" He goes, "Yeah, but we're basically done." I say, "You said she died." He goes, "Same difference. Same difference. I'm sorry. Is death now a semantic choice? A preference? A vibe?" My whole lab training kicked in. I'm analyzing this man like a specimen under a microscope. Flat tone, zero guilt, emotional detachment, moral void, diagnosis, run. I hang up. Block him. Block everything associated with him. Delete Hinge, so fast the app probably filed a missing person report. And listen, I'm not new to dating. I've seen men lie about height, age, jobs, even hairlines. But a whole wife? And children? 2 extra children? And then saying she's dead to me like he's reciting a monologue? No, absolutely not. I was not going to talk about this. Like truly, genuinely, I wanted to mind my Midwest business, drink my lavender latte, go on my little walks around Lake Harriet, flirt half-heartedly with men who own too many flannels. But nope, absolutely not. Because the DMs I've gotten this week, the stories, the screenshots, ladies gather round. This is a safety announcement from your friendly Minneapolis big sister. So picture this, I post one tiny TikTok. One, just saying, "Hey, dating in this city is kinda wild sometimes, lol." And suddenly my inbox explodes. I'm talking dozens of messages from women. Some I know, some I don't, some who clearly typed while shaking. And they're all saying the same thing. "Girl, there's something you need to know about the guys here. Now listen. Minneapolis men already have a reputation for being cute in a lumberjack way, but emotionally unavailable until the second ice melts in May. That's fine. Whatever. It's the Midwest. We survive worse. But this is different. Because apparently, and I swear I thought this was an urban legend, there are these massive group chats. On Snapchat. Because of course Snapchat, the land of disappearing evidence. And these group chats, they're not for fantasy football. Not for memes. Not for who's going to prize brewing tonight. No, they are for sharing. Photos of women. Women they're hooking up with. Women they're dating. Women they met once. Sometimes women who don't even know a photo was taken. I'm sitting here like, this cannot be real. This has to be a joke. So I ask around, thinking I'll debunk it and sleep easy. Haha. Haha. Ha. Yeah. No. Multiple women send screenshots. Conversations. Names of guys in the chats. Names of guys I recognize. Guys I've met at breweries. Guys who help their mom's garden. Guys who wear Carhartt like it's a second skin and cry over their favorite hockey team losing. Literally. Men I would trust to hold my purse. And yet there they are. In these secret little digital caves. Sharing photos of women like Pokemon cards. One girl told me, they sent one of me in there before I even realized he had taken a photo. Another said she saw a guy she once dated in the chat, and he had posted the selfies she had texted him during a long-distance moment. Like private, vulnerable photos. Stuff meant for one person. And he dropped them in this group like it was show and tell. At this point, my stomach is doing acrobatics. Because look, I just started dating again. I just re-downloaded the apps. I just emotionally prepared to let strange men see me without moisturizer on. And now I have to consider whether every date is a potential content creator for a secret male gossip ring. I swear, every time I try to be optimistic, the universe is like, haha, plot twist. I start messaging a couple of my guy friends, the decent ones, the ones who drink black coffee and volunteer at dog rescues. I'm like, hey, is this real? They go quiet. Too quiet. And then one of them says, well, I've heard of it. Babe, heard of it? You're saying that like you heard of the new Trader Joe's opening. One girl messaged me describing the layout of the chat. Hundreds of men. Snaps sent after hookups. Snaps taken during hookups, which is illegal by the way. Girls' photos passed around with ratings. Jokes, comments, debates, reactions. Like these dudes were running a whole fantasy league based on real women. And here's the part for the horror movie. You never know you're in the group. Because you never see it. You never know when a man takes a picture of you while you're tying your shoe, or lying on his couch, or brushing your hair, or adjusting your shirt. You never know if he saved the snap. You never know who forwarded it. You never know how many men saw it. You never know how many private screenshots exist in dark bedrooms with LED lights turned to eerie blue. And listen, Midwestern women, we are built tough. We survive -30 wind chill, passive-aggressive neighbors, and lutefisk. But this is demonic. I felt so sick reading everything, like genuinely nauseous. Because no matter how careful you are, no matter how slow you move, no matter how safe a guy seems, you can't control what he does with his phone. And then I get a message from a woman who says, Freya, one of the guys in that chat is someone I'm pretty sure you've met. And girl, she was right. I go look at the screenshot again. And there he is. A guy I went on 2 dates with. Funny, smart, wore Patagonia, always tipped 25%. Looked me in the eyes like I was the only person in the room. Well, apparently the only person in the room. And in the group chat. Do you know how unsettling it is to realize someone who made you feel safe is actually capable of something so violating? It's like your brain cracks a little. Like winter ice shifting under your feet. At this point, I'm pacing around my apartment, staring at the Minneapolis skyline, like I'm about to deliver a State of the Union address. And I think, okay, fine. If they're going to share information, so am I. So I match with this guy. We'll call him Greg because honestly he looks like a Greg. Very tall, I work out but only arms. I think fish tacos are personality. But he had a dog. And I'm a sucker for dogs. He texts me like, hey, before our date, want to come over and walk my dog with me? I'm new to the city, lonely, trying to make friends. And also I miss my own dog from Colombia. So I'm like, see, why not? Cute, harmless walk. I pull up to his house. Normal neighborhood. Humid Houston air hugging me like an unwanted blanket. Cicadas screaming like they're paid to do it. Greg comes out with the dog, super cute little thing, wagging its tail, honestly more excited to see me than Greg was. Red flag? Maybe. But whatever, I'm in my rom-com era. We start walking. He's telling me about his job, his gym routine, his favorite protein powder, kill me. And I'm nodding like, wow, yes, so interesting, mum. Because I'm polite. And also his dog kept licking my hand, and that made it all worth it. The walk is long. Like he took me through his whole neighborhood. Block after block. I'm sweating, my hair is frizzing, and I'm telling myself, it's okay, Sophia, Houston is like this. Maybe he's showing you the scenery. Girl, it was just houses. Regular houses. We finally walk back to his place, and I notice a car in the driveway. Windows tinted. Engine running. And immediately my stomach is like, oh, this is bad. Greg doesn't react. Not surprised, not confused, not scared. Just blank. As if this happens every Tuesday. We get closer, and suddenly the passenger window rolls down. And I swear to God, this woman leans out like a dragon breathing fire. Who the underscore are you? You're with my man? You think you can come to his house? She's screaming at me. At me. Like I built this house and invited myself over. I freeze. Literally stop breathing. Because I don't fight. I'm soft. I write essays, I pet dogs, I cry at Pixar movies. I am not built for driveway combat. I look at Greg like, hola? Explanation? And he just shrugs. Shrugs. Like, oops, silly me, my girlfriend showed up again. No emotion. Hands in his pockets. Like we're all watching a show together. The woman throws the car door open. Sprints at me. Not walks. Not jogs. Sprints. I put my hands up and go. Wait. I don't even know him like that. Poor favor. But she does not care. She swings at me. Full arm, full rage, full chaos. I duck. Thank you, childhood dodgeball trauma, and stumble backwards. And then, her friends get out of the car. Three women. And they surround me like we're in a telenovela finale. I'm standing there thinking, God, if this is my time, please let me go peacefully and not in front of this ugly driveway. They start yelling. Homewrecker, you knew he had a girlfriend. Look at her little shorts, she knew exactly what she was doing. And I'm like, no, I am just new here, please. Lo juro. This is my first date of 2024, please stop. My voice is shaking, my legs are shaking, I'm sweating, the dog is barking, and Greg is watching. Not helping. Not stopping anyone. Just standing by the porch like a man watching a TikTok he's already seen. I try to move around them, nope. They block me. I try to step back, nope. One girl grabs my wrist. I yank it away and finally run. I'm sprinting down the driveway like it's the Olympics. My sandals are slipping. I'm screaming, what the underscore, I ask going on. The girls are yelling behind me. The dog is barking. Greg is still doing absolutely nothing. I get to my car, throw myself inside, lock the doors, and just sit there with my heart beating like it's trying to escape my chest. I look up, and the main girl is banging on my window. Banging. Telling me to get out so she can talk to me. Ma'am, you tried to punch me. What kind of conversation are we having? I peel out of that driveway so fast I'm surprised my tires stayed on. I get home and immediately call my friends like, guess what just happened to me, oh my God. They're screaming, I'm screaming, my roommates think someone died. I'm pacing around the living room like a crazy person, waving my arms like I'm conducting a symphony of trauma. Then, since I need answers, I text Greg. Because yes, even after nearly dying, I wanted closure. I wanted information. Data. Context clues. I text. Who was that? He replies. My girlfriend. My girlfriend. I say, I thought you were single? And he texts back. I am, but it's complicated. Complicated where? What part of that driveway looked complicated and not straight up attempted murder? I tell him, you should have told me. He says, you didn't ask. Babe? Babe, I didn't know I had to ask if you were currently in a relationship while inviting me to your home. And it gets worse. Because guess what I find out later? Apparently this is a pattern. He does this. He cheats for fun. He goes on dates just to entertain himself. His girlfriend always finds out. She always shows up. And he always stands back and watches the chaos like it's free cable. The way my jaw dropped when a girl DM'd me like, oh yeah, he's known for that. Known. For that. I was shaking with rage. I was embarrassed. I was traumatized. But also, weirdly impressed at the consistency. I'm Swedish, so I'm used to bottling things, processing silently, drinking coffee, and pretending everything is fine even when it is very much not fine. But this one I have to say out loud. Because the way I almost died in a stranger's driveway. No, absolutely not. So, I had just moved abroad. New city, new food, new people, new heat. Because where I came from, The sun is more like a polite suggestion, not an actual life force trying to cook you alive. I was lonely. I was hopeful. I was stupidly optimistic. You know, the usual combination when you've uprooted your whole life and you're trying to pretend you're fine about it. I matched with this man. We'll call him Mark. Very normal name. Very normal face. Very quiet eyes. Not soft, not gentle, just blank. But I thought it was shyness. In Sweden, we don't do big emotions. Everyone looks a little like they're waiting for a bus in the rain. So I didn't think anything of it. We chat, and he says, "You should come by before we go out. I want you to meet my dog first." I love dogs. I trust dogs. I trust dogs more than I trust men. So I thought, okay, fine, the dog will be emotional support if the man is strange. I arrive. The house is quiet. The neighborhood is quiet. The air is heavy and humid. Nothing like the crisp Scandinavian air I grew up with. His dog runs up to me immediately, wagging his tail, whining happily. I kneel on the floor and pet him, and Mark watches with this stillness. Not smiling, just observing, like he's studying me, or studying how the dog reacts to me. I brush it off. I always brush things off. This is my toxic trait. We take the dog for a walk. It's pleasant. The dog sniffs everything. I talk. Mark listens, or at least pretends to. I get the slightest weird feeling, like he's too calm, too quiet, like the silence around him is thick, intentional. But again, Swedish men are basically human glaciers, so I think it's fine. We go back to his house, and that is when the world tilts. There's a car, parked diagonally across the driveway, blocking everything. Engine on, lights on, like something out of a movie where you immediately know the main character won't make it to season 2. I stop walking. The dog freezes. Mark does not react. Not at all. He just adjusts his shirt collar and keeps walking forward. My brain whispers, "Sweetie, you need to leave." I should have listened. We get closer. The passenger window rolls down so fast it makes a clicking sound. And then, a woman leans out. No, not leans. Ejects herself out, like her body is propelled by pure hatred. "Who the hell are you?" She screams. The accent, the rage, the volume, everything hitting me like warm, angry wind. I freeze. My mouth opens but nothing comes out. She's yelling about her man, her house, her relationship. I am so confused that my brain literally goes blank. Then the door opens, and she charges at me. Not walks, not approaches, runs. Full speed, full anger, arms flying. I step back, shocked. I try to speak. I don't know, I just met him, I didn't. She doesn't care. My explanations are dust in the wind. She swings. Her hand slices through the air, so fast I hear it. I duck, heart in my throat, the metallic taste of fear rising like bile. Gravel digs into the soles of my bare feet. I had taken my sandals off because we'd walked on grass. The ground hurts. I barely feel it. Adrenaline is louder. And then, like a horror movie, the back doors of the car open too. 2 more women get out. 3 in total now, all glaring at me like wolves circling a deer. I am not a fighter. I don't even yell. I freeze in conflict. My body goes cold. My hands tremble. And Mark stands on the porch. Hands in his pockets. Expression neutral. Just watching. Like this is Tuesday. Like this is normal. The dog is whining beside me, tail tucked, unsure whether to defend me or run inside. One of the women shouts, "You knew about her." Another yells, "Some of you homebreakers think you can get away with anything." And I'm like, I didn't even kiss him, what is going on? My voice cracks. My chest is tight. My breath feels sharp. The first woman grabs my wrist. Her nails dig into my skin. I yank back on instinct, stumbling, gravel stabbing deeper into my feet. My thoughts are frantic, switching between Swedish and English. Spring, 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 run, 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 Jahem, leave, Lena, go. I shove past them. Not violently, just desperately. And they try to block me again, but I slip through. I run, barefoot, across the jagged driveway. Heart pounding, vision blurry. I hear shouting behind me. The crunching of gravel under someone's foot. The dog barking. My breath ragged. I reach my car. My hand shakes so badly I miss the handle twice. Finally I yank the door open, fall inside, slam it shut, lock the doors. The woman reaches my window. Bangs on it. Hard. The glass vibrates. The sound echoes in my skull. "Come out," she screams. "Come out and explain yourself." I don't move. I don't breathe. I curl into myself like a child. And Mark, still standing there, hands in his pockets, expression dead, not worried, not confused, not trying to help, just observing, like he set this up, like he wanted this exact reaction, like I was entertainment, a disposable piece in his broken relationship. I peel out of the driveway so fast my tires screech. The noise startles me so badly I almost cry again. I drive down the street barefoot, shaking, heart pounding so loudly it feels like another person inside me. When I get home, I sit in my car for 20 minutes. Windows up, doors locked, hands gripping the steering wheel. I keep replaying it. The woman's face, the man's stillness, the dog's whine, the gravel cutting my feet, the pounding on the window, over and over like a glitching video on loop. Later, I tell a friend, and she says, "Oh yeah, that guy. He has a long-term girlfriend. She monitors him. She shows up whenever she suspects something." And I say, "He invited me." Knowing that, my friend nods, like it's normal, like it happens, and suddenly it all clicks. He wasn't surprised by the car, or the yelling, or the attack, because he knew. He knew she might come. He knew she watched him. He knew her anger. He knew the chaos. And he still invited me. Like bait. Like a prop. Like a distraction from the miserable life he created. To him, women were replaceable. Interchangeable. Expendable. I was an accessory to his recklessness. And he watched. Calm. Emotionless. While I ran for my life. The next morning, I woke up with bruises on my wrist, cuts on my feet, and a new fear I didn't know lived inside me. But I also woke up wiser, harder, colder, and with a promise to myself. Never again will I walk into a stranger's house without knowing who else believes they live there. This man didn't even know my last name. He didn't know what company I worked for. He was already blocked on literally everything, and somehow still managed to find my work email and send me this full-on midnight novel about our future together. Like, sir. But let me tell you how we got to that point, because it did not start that crazy. At least, I didn't think it would. So we match, we talk a bit, seems normal. We decide to meet up for dinner at this cute spot. It's nice weather, very jeans and a cute top vibes, right? I show up in a normal outfit, feeling cute but casual. This man walks in a full suit. Like full grown-ass executive, board meeting at 9 a.m., funeral at noon, after-work drinks at 6 p.m. type suit. I'm already like, okay, that's odd, but maybe he's coming from work or something. I ask if he made a reservation because this place gets packed, and he's like, nah, I figured we'd just walk in. We get there and of course the line is wrapped. So he's like, let's just go somewhere else, I know another place. We end up at this Mexican restaurant. Okay, cool, whatever. We sit down, order food, and at first the conversation is normal. We're doing the usual, jobs, hobbies, how long you've been in the city, blah blah. Then we get to the whole dating history part. And that's where the first real red flag slaps me in the face. He tells me this story about one of his past dates. He goes, yeah, we were having dessert, and I turned to my right and she was just gone. Like she literally ran out on me, never said anything, just disappeared. And he's clearly offended about it, like this huge injustice. But while he's talking, something in my brain is like, wait, women don't just randomly sprint away mid-cheesecake for no reason. Something is missing here. I kind of laugh politely and say something like, wow, that's wild. But internally I'm like, okay, I believe her. We move on, or so I think. Then he starts testing me. First it's edgy jokes. Then it's full-on racist, __. Nazi this, Jewish people that, just casually dropping the most disgusting jokes like it's open mic night in hell. He's telling me about things he said on other dates that the girls just didn't get, like how they were all too sensitive. And I'm sitting there like, no, they were just decent human beings. And then he looks at me and goes, you're taking it pretty well. And that's when my stomach drops. Because I realize he's not just talking, he's studying me. Like I'm some experiment. How much can he say before I flinch? How far can he push it? And I'm thinking, oh my god, I hope he doesn't __, kill me in this booth between the chips and salsa. I go into survival mode. You know that feeling when your body is screaming leave, but your brain is like don't escalate, don't provoke. I'm smiling, nodding, giving short answers, just trying to get through the meal without making him angry. Finally, the check comes. I'm ready to never see this man again. I say, thank you, I'm gonna head to my car, it was nice meeting you, very standard exit. He goes, oh, I'll walk with you. My car's a few blocks away. I'm headed the same way. And I'm like, great. Exactly what I didn't want. We're walking down the street and he suddenly goes, "Hey, actually, could you drop me off at my place? I live in the Gold Coast. If you're not from Chicago, that's one of the really nice, expensive areas downtown." And I'm like, there is no __ way I'm letting this man in my car. Absolutely not. I already feel unsafe on a public sidewalk. I'm not about to be trapped in an enclosed space with him. I brush it off with, "Oh, I'm actually going the opposite direction." Even though I'm not, but he doesn't need to know that. We pass a movie theater and he goes, "I really need to use the restroom. Let's just pop in here real quick." I'm like, okay, public place, more people. That actually makes me feel safer, sure. We go inside. I head to the women's restroom. I'm in there for maybe 5 minutes, max. When I come back and check my phone, 10 missed calls. Multiple texts. In 5 minutes. Where are you? Why aren't you answering? What are you doing? All this super intense, panicky, borderline threatening energy. I'm just standing there in this movie theater bathroom like, oh no, oh no no no. Something in me snaps and I text him once. "Hey, I think it's best if you just find your own way back." And after that, I stop answering. But he doesn't stop. Calls keep coming in. My heart is pounding. Because the way the restrooms are set up, if I walk out and he walks in, we will literally bump into each other. So I wait. I'm in this weird limbo where I'm too scared to leave and too scared to stay. I'm imagining him storming into the women's bathroom, banging on stalls, or waiting right outside the door. Finally, I crack it open, peek out, and make a run for one of the theaters. I slip into a random movie, sit in the dark, shoulders slouched, trying to make myself as invisible as possible. I keep expecting his face to appear in the aisle, or his hand to grab my shoulder. My phone is still lighting up. I feel like prey. Eventually, I spot an employee walking down the hall, and I basically jump up and whisper, "Hey, I need help." I explain everything. I show him what the guy looks like, tell him he's been waiting outside, and that I'm scared to leave. The employee looks out into the lobby and goes, "Yeah, he's still there." That cold wave of dread? Yeah. He tells me there's an employee exit I can use, and offers to walk me out. This man was honestly an angel. He takes me through this long back hallway, down a service stairwell, out a side door. I'm convinced the guy is going to be lurking somewhere nearby, scanning the street. My car is parked where you can see the front of the theater, and my car is obvious, big bumper sticker that says real estate on it. I'm like, this is it, he's gonna see me, memorize my plate, follow me home. The employee walks with me all the way to my car, looking around, making sure the coast is clear. I get in, lock the doors immediately, and ask him, "Can you please just watch me drive off?" Because at that point, I truly believed this man was capable of anything. I drove home shaking, blocked his number, blocked him on every app. I always tell people I'm logical. I'm a nurse in Boston. I can intubate someone half asleep. I know the signs of shock before a monitor even catches it, and nothing impresses me because I've seen too much. And yet somehow, with all that clinical instinct, I still let myself go on a Tinder date with a man who looked like he'd been assembled by the perfect boyfriend generator. Verified, 6 feet tall, finance job, crisp haircut, and a smile that looked safe enough. He messaged me immediately after we matched. Actually, he triple texted before I even answered once. Normally that's where I swipe left into the abyss, but I was exhausted coming off a night shift, brain mushy, judgment compromised. He didn't sound weird, just enthusiastic. We talked, and he jumped straight into making plans. "Let's go tonight. I'll buy the tickets. I want to meet you." Zero hesitation. Zero space. But honestly, it felt flattering at the time. Like someone choosing me with conviction instead of that usual lukewarm "we'll see." Throughout the day, he kept messaging, little things, nothing deep. Told me I was cute, asked what kind of movies I liked, said he liked women with subtle confidence. He checked every box of normal. God, that word should come with a warning label. About an hour before the date, he texts, "Hey, my car's in the shop. Such bad timing. Any chance you could pick me up?" I felt that weird flick in my chest, the one that says something's off. I brush it off like an overreaction, but reply firmly, "Nope, sorry. Just Uber. I'll meet you there." He pushes again. Not aggressively, but in that manipulative politeness way. It'd really help me out. "It's not far. Come on, be sweet." Every message makes my stomach knot tighter, so I say it one more time. "Uber. Meet there." That's it. He finally backs off, and I convince myself I didn't just dodge something major. When I pull into the theater parking lot later, he's already there. I'm early, but he beat me by a few minutes. He calls me immediately. Hey, where are you parked? Normally we would just go inside, but I, like an idiot, suggest we hang out in my car for a bit since we're early. It sounds safer than awkwardly loitering in a lobby. I park dead center under the brightest floodlight I can find, facing the big theater doors. Families, teenagers, couples, everyone passing by in little glittery snapshots of normal life. I watch him walk toward my car. He looks exactly like his photos, clean hoodie, neat haircut, good sneakers. Smells like expensive cologne when he slides into the passenger seat. He buckles his seatbelt, which I weirdly take as a green flag. We make small talk. Work, pets, weather. Nothing alarming. I almost loosen up. Then I ruin the moment by remembering my cold sore. It's tiny, but it's there, and as a nurse, I feel morally obligated to disclose. So I just blurt it out. I have a cold sore right now. It's contagious. If you want to leave, I get it. He laughs like belly laughs. You're adorable. I don't care. I want to kiss you anyway. Before I can even process the sentence, he leans in and kisses me. Hard. Too hard. Not a first date kiss, an anniversary kiss. His hand clamps onto my leg, fingers digging. My whole body stiffens. I pull back, try to smoothly pivot. So your car. What's going on with it? That's when his whole vibe twitches sideways. He shifts in his seat, scratches the back of his neck, looks everywhere except at me. Yeah, so, it's not actually in the shop. I lost my license on the 4th. Got a DUI. He says it like he misplaced a library book. I stare at him. So you lied? He shrugs. I mean, basically. My instincts start filing red flags at lightning speed. He tries to kiss me again. I dodge. He tries to put my hand somewhere it absolutely shouldn't be 5 minutes into knowing a person. I pull away fast. Hey, no, I'm not here for that. The temperature in the car drops. Not physically, just his whole energy. His face hardens, jaw tight, eyes flat. So what are you here for? He snaps. You talked to me all day. You said you wanted to see me. No, I correct, voice steady and calm the way it gets at work when someone's about to escalate. I said I wanted to go to the movies. He scoffs. Girls like you always do this. I go quiet. I know this behavior pattern. The shift from charm to bitterness. The entitlement. The resentment simmering under the surface. Then he says, casual as hell. You know, I could kill you right now and take your car. You've got a nice car. He laughs. I don't. The air goes razor sharp. Someone walks past the back of my car. I focus on the movement like it's a lifeline. He keeps talking like he's joking. Seriously though. Feel how dark it is back there. He nods toward the back end of the lot, where the lights don't reach. We should move there. Could have privacy. No, I say instantly. I'm good here. He tries again. Come on. It's bright here. People walking around. Annoying. That's why I like it. And finally, it clicks for him. I'm not moving the car. I'm not going anywhere dark. I'm not giving him whatever he came for. He switches tactics. Mopes. Sulks. Tells me I led him on, that he wasted time and money, that I made him feel stupid. I apologize, strategically, not sincerely. The escalating is muscle memory for me. Keep him calm until you're safe. He suggests seeing the movie anyway. I'd checked earlier. We would have been the only 2 people in that theater. No chance. Eventually, with the heaviness of someone denied a prize, he orders an Uber. Will you wait with me? He asks. Yes, I say, because I'm not pushing my luck now. We sit for 5 long, silent minutes until his ride pulls up. He gets out without a goodbye, without a look back, without anything human. Just a door slam and footsteps fading. I sit there under harsh white lights, gripping the steering wheel, heart thudding. My brain does the last morbid inventory. Could he have dropped something in the car? A tracker? Touched something he shouldn't have? I don't know. I only know this, that bulletproof nurse instinct people always congratulate me for. It saved my life that night, and that was the last first date I ever went on in a parked car. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. See cookie preferences. Let me start by saying this. I am not hard to impress, but I am very easy to disappoint. So when this man had been begging to take me out for almost 2 years straight, I finally said yes. Not because I was suddenly interested, but because curiosity is a disease. And TikTok kept telling me, give the man in your DMs a chance. That could be your husband. That was my first mistake. Listening to strangers on the internet instead of my own common sense. We met on Facebook. He'd been consistent, too consistent. Every few months, a polite little message. Hey, how you been? Let me take you out. I always curved him. He wasn't my type. I like my men dark skin, dark energy, dark sense of humor. He was light bright, beige personality, beige spirit. But eventually I said, fuck it. One date won't kill me. He picked me up early in the afternoon. I step outside my Manhattan apartment building and immediately notice the car. White 2020 BMW, red interior, clean like it had never seen a grocery bag. He'd posted this car all over Facebook like it was his child. I get in, and he's grinning like he just won something. Nice car, I say because I'm polite. Oh yeah, he says. Just got it. That should have been the end of the flex. It wasn't. I told him I wanted to go to Coney Island first. I love amusement parks. I love chaos. I love rides that feel like they're one bolt away from killing you. And at night, when it's 21 plus and everybody's drunk, even better. He agrees, but I can already feel him doing mental math. The drive is long. Manhattan to Brooklyn, then deeper into Brooklyn. Traffic. Honking. Silence broken only by him, sighing like driving is something happening to him, not something he chose to do. We finally get to Coney Island, and immediately, the parking situation becomes a problem. There's no way we're finding free parking, I tell him. Just pay for the lot. No, he says immediately. I'm not paying $20 to park. $20. For a man who begged me for 2 years. He starts circling the neighborhood. Once. Twice. 10 times. I'm watching the sun go down. Watching families leave. Watching my patience evaporate. Bro, I say finally, you've been driving for 30 minutes. You could have paid and been done. He shrugs. It's the principle. Principle my ass. Then he starts asking questions. How much are the rides? How much do people usually spend? I tell him straight up. If you spend like $100 for both of us, we're good. You would have thought I told this man to sell a kidney. $100, he says, eyes wide. For rides? Yes. Rides. At an amusement park. On a date you asked for. We find another sign. $10 parking for 4 hours. I point. That one. He scoffs. Nah. Not paying that either. At this point, we've been circling for nearly an hour. I'm irritated. Hungry. Cold. And honestly no longer interested in Coney Island or him. Let's just get dinner, I say. I'm over this. He perks up immediately. Dinner is cheaper than fun. We pick a spot in Brooklyn. Cute place. Not fancy, not trashy. We sit down and I'm trying, really trying to enjoy myself. Conversation is fine. Not amazing. But fine. We order. Here's exactly what happened, because I will never forget it. I ordered 1 drink. I ordered 1 appetizer. I ordered 1 entree. He ordered 2 drinks. He ordered 2 appetizers. That's it. The food comes. We eat. It's good. I'm starting to relax again, thinking maybe the parking thing was just a weird fluke. Then the bill comes. $105.86, including gratuity. That is a steal in New York City. The waiter sets the check down. I reach for my phone, ready to send a thanks but no thanks text to my group chat when this man pulls out his calculator. His calculator. On his phone. In public. He starts whispering numbers. Okay, you had 1 drink, that's 12, 1 appetizer, that's 14, your entree was 27. I feel heat crawl up my neck. The table next to us is staring. The waiter is standing there, pen in hand, watching this man itemize a date he begged for. I am humiliated. I want to disappear. I want the ground to open up and swallow me whole. So I do the only thing that preserves my dignity. I pull out my debit card and say loud and clear, put it all on my card. His eyes light up. Oh wow, he says. That's so nice of you. Nobody's ever done that for me. I don't even look at him. I'm already texting my friends under the table. I just paid for my own date. I hate it here. We leave the restaurant. He doesn't open the car door for me. Strike number 57. We get in, and there's silence. Thick, awkward silence. My nails are tapping against my phone screen because I'm furious and trying not to explode. Then he says it. Can I ask you something? I already know I'm about to be mad. Do you usually help with gas money on dates? I turn slowly. Slowly. Like a horror movie character. Gas money. I repeat. Yeah, he says. Manhattan's far. I drove a lot. I laugh. Not because it's funny. Because if I don't laugh, I'll scream. You beg me to go out, I say. You pick me up. I paid for dinner. And now you're asking for gas money. Well, he shrugs, it adds up. What adds up is the audacity. The drive home is quiet. We pull up to my building, and instead of stopping, he circles the block. I look at him. What are you doing? Oh, I thought maybe I could come upstairs, he says. We could talk a little. Talk. In my house. After I paid. After the calculator. After the gas money comment. No, I say. Flat. Final. He drops me off. I get out without a goodbye. I never spoke to him again. And the scariest part isn't that he was cheap. It's that he felt entitled to my time, my money, my space, because he drove a BMW and asked me out. That date didn't almost kill me. But it taught me something just as important. Some men won't hurt you with violence. They'll drain you slowly, embarrass you publicly, and then ask for gas money on the way out. And that's terrifying in its own way. People think intuition is some mystical sixth sense, this mysterious whisper from the universe. In my family, we call it sense. As in, use your sense, my daughter. My mom says it all the time. Usually when I'm about to do something questionable. Like letting a man I've known for exactly one date enter my flat at nearly midnight. But I didn't know any better then. I was 27, doing my master's at UCL, surviving on iced coffee and existential dread. Dating was something I squeezed in between seminars and problem sets. So when I say this guy seemed normal, sweet even, I hope you understand that normal in London dating is rare enough to feel like a sign from above. The date earlier that evening had been nice. Not fireworks, not violins, but comfortable. He held doors. He laughed at the right moments. He talked about his mum and his dog. He paid for dinner without theatrics. Most importantly, he didn't try to come home with me. I actually appreciated that. It made him feel safe. So when my phone rang around 11:30 p.m., I didn't think danger. I thought, oh no, is he okay? His voice came through, tight and embarrassed. Hey, I'm so sorry to call this late. I'm locked out. Lost my keys, and my flatmate's not picking up. I don't know what to do. In hindsight, that pause he took should have told me everything. But I just heard a man stranded outside in London night air. And because he'd been the picture of respectful earlier, I said yes. Come wait here, I told him. It's fine. When he arrived, bundle of cold, apologetic energy, I even made tea. Because I'm Nigerian and hospitality is coded into my DNA. My mum raised me well, but that woman would resurrect from the grave if she heard what I did next. We sat on my couch for maybe an hour, talking about nothing. He still seemed normal. No creepy staring. No uncomfortable shifting. He wasn't trying to edge closer or touch me. Honestly, if anything, he seemed too polite. His hands stayed in his lap the entire time, shoulders hunched like he didn't want to take up space. It was almost 1 a.m. when I said, "Look, it's late. You can sleep on the couch. I'll leave a blanket. I'm heading to bed." He thanked me softly. Too softly. But again, I rationalized it. I rationalize everything. My mind does this thing where it adds disclaimers and footnotes to reality. He's just tired. He's embarrassed. Stop being dramatic. I went to my bedroom, and I swear, as my hand touched the doorknob, I heard my mother's WhatsApp voice note from earlier playing faintly in my head. A woman's intuition will never fail her, my daughter. Listen to it. And just like that, I locked my bedroom door. I never lock it. I live alone. I hate feeling boxed in. But that night, the click of that lock felt necessary. I fell asleep quickly, exhaustion from the day pulling me under. Then knock. Not loud. Not frantic. Just deliberate. "Hey, sorry," his voice whispered. "Do you have a charger? My phone is dying." I didn't move from my bed. "There's one in the kitchen," I yelled back. "Help yourself." Silence. Footsteps. Then nothing. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling something electric in the air. Like the air pressure had shifted. A few minutes later, another knock. This one closer to the handle. Almost testing. "The charger isn't working," he said. "Do you have one in your room?" I could just grab it quickly. My stomach dropped so fast I felt dizzy. "No," I said louder this time. "Use the one in the sitting room." Another pause. Longer. "Can't I just come in for a sec?" That was it. Every alarm bell in my body started singing hallelujah like a Pentecostal choir. "No," I repeated, my voice cracking in the middle. "I'm sleeping." His footsteps didn't move away immediately. They lingered. Shifted. Like he was deciding something. Then finally, slow retreat. And I knew with crystal clarity that something was wrong. Not maybe. Not possibly. Absolutely. Hands shaking, I slid out of bed, grabbed my phone, crouched behind my bed, and whispered the simplest sentence of my life. Hi, this is an emergency. Someone is in my flat, and I don't feel safe. The dispatcher asked quiet questions. I answered them. They told me to stay locked in the room until police arrived. Minutes stretched. Long, slow, syrupy minutes where I swear I could hear my own heartbeat bouncing off the walls. Then noise. A slam. Heavy boots up the stairs. Police. Step away from her door. Do not move. Chaos erupted outside my room. Thudding, scraping, voices layering over each other. Then finally a firm knock. Miss? It's the police. You can open your door. My whole body shook so badly I had to use both hands to turn the key. And when I stepped into the sitting room, I genuinely stopped breathing. Plastic sheeting. Everywhere. Across my rug, over the armchairs, taped along the skirting boards. White and gleaming under the overhead light like a butcher's workspace. The room smelled like new tarp, sharp, chemical, artificial. And on top of the plastic, laid out with disturbing neatness, sat a box of tools. Not household tools. Not IKEA furniture tools. Tools meant for harm. A hatchet. A drill. Zip ties. A hammer. Heavy-duty scissors. A serrated saw. I felt the world tilt. A police officer steadied my arm. We arrived just in time, he said. Calm. Professional. Like this was Tuesday. He was setting up the room. You locking the bedroom door likely saved your life. My mouth couldn't form words. Another officer read something off a small notebook. Scene indicates extensive preparation. Suspect arranged cheating consistent with attempts to avoid trace evidence. Please, I muttered, shaking my head. I don't need to hear that. But part of me did. Part of me needed to understand how close I had been. They led him past me in handcuffs. His face was blank. Not angry. Not remorseful. Just empty. Like he'd already left himself long ago. I stared at him and realized our entire date, every polite smile and harmless joke, had been camouflage. He never lost his keys. He never needed help. He needed privacy. A flat with one occupant. A controlled environment. And I nearly handed it to him on a silver platter. You ever look back at a moment in your life and think, God tried to warn me, but I was too busy playing obedient to hear him? Yeah, that's how my whole first marriage feels. I'm telling this story now because folks always ask me, how did you become an HIV advocate? How did you stay so strong? And I just laugh, real soft, real tired, because strength isn't something I chose. It's something life forced on me like an ugly sweater. So let me take you back. Jacksonville, Florida. Early 2000s. I was a young church woman, prim and proper, crossing my legs at the ankles, saying yes sir and no ma'am. I wanted to do everything right. And along came this man who looked like every prayer request I ever scribbled down on a notepad. Polite, clean cut, always sitting up front in church with his Bible like he was born saved. We courted slow, my idea, not his. No sex before marriage. No sleeping over. No situationships. He grinned and said he respected all that. At the time, that felt like love. Now I know it was camouflage. Before we married, we went to an STD clinic together, standing right next to each other like two kids on the first day of school. The doctor came out with those papers, gave us both a smile, and said, "You're clean." I didn't think twice. Didn't read a line. Why would I? My future husband was right there holding my hand. If I'd opened that paper, if I'd just read it, but I didn't. We got married. Big church wedding. My mama crying, my daddy stiff as a board because he never liked the man. Should have listened. But love makes you blind, and church makes you stubborn. We moved up to South Carolina, Greenville. Cute little house, quiet neighborhood, nosy neighbors peeking through blinds like their rent depended on it. And I got pregnant fast. Twins. When the doctor told me, I swear I heard the angels hum. But when they called me back in after the blood work, it wasn't angels humming. It was something heavy, something dark. The nurse closed the door, sat down slow, and said, "You tested positive for HIV." I laughed. Thought she mixed up some charts. Said, "Honey, I've been with one man for over a year." She didn't laugh back. I remember staring at her mouth while she talked, but none of the words entered me. My brain just kept repeating the same thing like a broken record. He lied. He lied. He lied. I drove home numb. Didn't even cry yet. He was in the kitchen, pretending to cook. When I told him, he didn't deny it. Didn't look shocked. Didn't fall to his knees like a guilty man. He just sighed real long and said, "Please don't tell anyone. No one else is ever gonna love you like this now." I felt something inside me crack. Not like a heartbreak. Heartbreak feels sharp. This felt hollow. Empty. Like someone reached inside me and scooped out the person I used to be. That night I called my parents. They drove up from Florida before sunrise. I packed every single thing that belonged to me. I left him a microwave out of sheer pettiness. Then I went home. My aunt was the one who saw the news first. "Turn on the TV," she said. There it was. A story about a man who knowingly infected someone and was facing prison time. And something in me sparked. We had a family friend who was a police officer. I told him everything, and that man started crying right in front of me. He said, "We need a confession. Get him on a two-way call." So I did. I called my husband. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone. I asked him point blank. And he admitted it, cold as a fridge. That was all we needed. The warrant went out nationwide. And then Greenville turned into a circus. They put his face on the news with a line that said, "If you've had contact with this man, get tested immediately." People poured into the clinic. I'm talking lines wrapped around the building, people whispering, arguing with partners, breaking down crying. They tested men. They tested women. Married folks. College kids. His own boss. Turned out he'd slept with over 200 people. 200. I still can't say that number without my skin crawling. One of the people he infected was his boss, a woman. She found out she had HIV the same day her partner found out. She didn't know how to tell him. She didn't know what happened. She just shut down. And that silence spiraled into something horrific. A few years later, her boyfriend shot her dead in their garage. I didn't even know that until the day I went to court for child support and ran into a woman who overheard my story and said, "Wait, that was my aunt." Small world. Too small. Feels cursed sometimes. My ex-husband went to prison for about 5 years. Not long enough, if you ask me, but who am I? Just the woman who got caught in his web. The twins came early, 4 months early. Stress will do that. They almost didn't make it. They're alive now, but they carry the scars. Disabilities that trace back to that day in the clinic. The nurse said my name like she didn't want to. And me? I became an advocate. Not because I'm brave. People love to say that. You're so strong. You're inspiring. I want to shake them sometimes. I didn't choose this road. I was shoved onto it. But I walk it anyway. When I speak at schools and churches, I tell people the truth, not the polite version. I tell them how trusting the wrong person can rearrange your entire life. I tell them to read their own papers, to listen to their own instincts, to not let love blind them into foolishness. I don't usually say things like, "I almost died," because I think the internet cheapened that phrase. People say it when their oat milk spills or when their phone battery hits 1%. But this genuinely felt like one of those moments where a small decision quietly determines whether you keep existing or not. I matched with him on Bumble on a Monday afternoon. I was at work in London, half paying attention to emails, half scrolling like everyone does. His profile was fine. Not amazing, not suspicious. Clean photos, gym body, but not aggressively so, normal smile, nothing flashy. We exchanged a few messages. Polite. Dry even. He didn't overshare. He didn't love bomb. That alone felt refreshing. We moved to WhatsApp pretty quickly. Again, nothing strange. Short sentences. Neutral emojis. No pressure. When he suggested meeting up, I agreed. I'm not naive, but I'm also not someone who thinks every man is a predator by default. I just try to be careful. He said he'd planned a date. A bar. Tuesday night. Great, I said. Which bar? There was a pause. Not a long one. Just long enough for me to notice. Then he sent me a postcode. Not a name. Not a Google Maps pin. Just a postcode. At first, I thought maybe it was a mistake. So I copied it into Maps. It wasn't a bar. It was a residential street. Rows of terraced houses. Parked cars. No businesses. No lights. Just homes. I frowned and typed back. "Hey, that's just a street. Can we meet at the bar instead?" He replied almost immediately. "Just meet me here first. We'll walk together." Something in my chest tightened. I said politely, "I'd rather just meet you at the bar." He ignored that sentence entirely. "Just come here," he said. "It's easier." Now, I don't panic easily. I'm Indian, Grew up in a household where paranoia and practicality coexist very comfortably. I don't scream red flag at the first inconvenience. But this wasn't inconvenience. This was insistence. I tried again. I don't feel comfortable meeting on a random street. Please just send the bar name. He responded, "Why are you making such a big deal out of it?" That sentence alone made my stomach drop. Men who aren't dangerous don't get defensive when you ask for basic safety. Eventually, he sent the bar name. I Googled it immediately. It was real, but it was far, really far. On a Tuesday night, over an hour from my office. Nowhere near where I lived. Nowhere near anything I'd normally go. I said, "That's quite far for me. Can we meet somewhere in the middle?" "No," he replied. "Just no. No explanation. No compromise." He told me it was only one stop by tube, which was a lie. I checked. He told me an Uber would only be £15. Also a lie. I checked that too. It would have been closer to £30, more if it was late. By this point, the conversation felt wrong. Like every reasonable boundary I set was something he was actively trying to flatten. I said, "This isn't really working. Let's reschedule." And then he pulled out the line that finally snapped everything into focus. "Well, I can't cancel now. I had to put my credit card down for the reservation. They'll charge me." That was the moment my brain went cold. Because I work in tech. Because I check things. Because something told me to. I went to the bar's website. Clicked reserve table. No credit card required. Not even an option. I stared at my screen for a long time after that. My heart wasn't racing yet. It was sinking. Slowly. Like I was realizing something terrible in stages. Out of pure instinct, I did one more thing. I reverse image searched his photos. There's a site, FaceCheck ID. I'd never used it before. I uploaded his profile picture. And there it was. A German fitness model. Verified Instagram. Thousands of followers. Different name. Different country. Every single photo on this man's Bumble profile belonged to someone else. I felt physically sick. I scrolled through the model's page, comparing angles, tattoos, even the background of the gym mirrors. All stolen. All cropped just enough to feel believable. This man did not exist. And suddenly, everything else lined up. The insistence on the postcode. The refusal to meet publicly. The distance. The lies about money. The pressure. He didn't want to meet me at a bar. He wanted me at that address. I went back to Google Maps and dropped into Street View. The street looked narrow. Poorly lit. A long row of houses with identical doors. One alleyway between buildings that disappeared out of sight. I imagined myself standing there, phone in hand, looking around, waiting. Waiting for someone who was never going to meet me publicly. My hands started shaking then. I screenshotted everything. His profile. His messages. The FaceCheck results. The real model's Instagram. I sent him one final message. Just the screenshot of the German man's profile. No words. He didn't reply immediately. That scared me more than if he had. I reported him on Bumble. Blocked him on WhatsApp. Then sat on my bed staring at my door like it might open on its own. For hours afterward, I kept thinking, what if I'd been more agreeable? What if I hadn't questioned him? What if I'd just gone? I don't know what would have happened. And that's the part that stays with me. Not knowing. Because whatever his intention was, it wasn't harmless. People who plan harmless dates don't need fake identities and precise locations. They don't try to isolate you before you've even met. I didn't almost get murdered in a dramatic, cinematic way. I almost disappeared quietly, and no one would have known why. Now every time someone tells me I'm too cautious, I think of that postcode, that single line of text, and how close I came to stepping into something I would never have stepped out of. Being alive sometimes has nothing to do with bravery. Sometimes it's just listening to the part of you that says, something here is wrong, leave now. I didn't think I was walking into danger that night. I thought I was walking into an awkward birthday pregame. And honestly, that's what makes it worse, because if something feels obviously dangerous, you're alert. You're ready. This didn't feel like that. This felt like something slightly off that I kept explaining away until it was too late. I met him on Hinge. He was charming in that loud, self-deprecating way that makes you feel like you're doing him a favor just by listening. He invited me and my friend to his Airbnb to pregame with his friends because it was his birthday. That should have been my first pause, meeting at an Airbnb instead of a bar, but I told myself it was fine. We weren't alone. Other people would be there. When we arrived, the vibe hit me immediately. 3 girls were already inside, getting ready. They barely acknowledged us. I walked up the stairs and said, "Hey, I'm Winnie, nice to meet you." Because that's just how I was raised. They gave me flat looks and half-hearted hellos like I'd walked into their house uninvited. The energy was cold, thick, uncomfortable. He noticed it too. Kept apologizing. "I'm so sorry, I swear they're being weird," he said. "Let's go to the roof." The roof felt like a reset. Fresh air. Drinks. Music drifting from somewhere nearby. He complained about how those girls didn't care about his birthday, how they wouldn't go where he wanted, how nobody ever listens to him. My friend and I felt bad. So we hyped him up. Told him we'd celebrate properly. Told him we'd go wherever he wanted. He chose Havana. We all piled into an Uber, me, my friend, him, and his friend who ordered the ride. Everything still felt normal. Loud. Drunk. Chaotic in a harmless way. Until we got out of the Uber. The moment my feet hit the pavement, I knew something was wrong. My purse was gone. I froze, patting my sides, checking my jacket. "I don't have my purse," I said. "Guys, I don't have my purse." The Uber was already pulling away. His friend shrugged it off. "It's probably back at the house. Or on the roof. Don't worry." I hesitated. My keys were in that purse. My house keys. My car keys. Everything. But I didn't want to ruin his birthday. I didn't want to be that girl. And I'd already had a few drinks, which dulls your survival instincts just enough to make you cooperative. So I let it go. Havana was loud and crowded. We drank. Danced. I noticed him paying more attention to my friend than me. But honestly, I didn't care. I was distracted by the gnawing feeling in my chest about my purse. I kept checking my phone, hoping his friend would say the Uber driver found it. Nothing. After a couple hours, we decided to head back to the Airbnb. That's when everything escalated. The moment we walked inside, he became controlling. "Shh. Be quiet. They're sleeping. Don't say a word." Every laugh. Every whisper. Every step. "Shh. Guys. Seriously, shh." We weren't being loud. We were drunk, yes, but respectful. Still, he kept correcting us like children. Instead of letting us stay inside, he pushed us back up to the roof. It was freezing. We complained. He sighed like we were inconveniencing him. "Fine. Let's go downstairs." I thought we were going to the kitchen. We weren't. He led us down one flight of stairs, opened a bedroom door, ushered us inside, and locked it behind us. Locked. That's when I remembered my purse again. "I still haven't found my purse," I said. "Did your friend hear from the Uber?" He didn't answer. Just stared at me. "Can I go look?" I asked. "Maybe it's in the kitchen or on the roof." "No," he said. Just like that. "No. No," he repeated. "You can't go out there." I laughed because my brain couldn't process what he was saying. "What do you mean I can't? My keys are in that purse." He stepped closer. "You're not going anywhere." Something cold settled in my stomach. His friend had disappeared at this point. It was just me, my friend, and him in that locked room. Time stretched weirdly. 10 minutes felt like an hour. I started to panic. I begged him. I pleaded. I explained calmly, then desperately, that I needed my keys. That I was stuck without them. That I wasn't accusing anyone, I just needed to look. "No," he kept saying. "Stop being dramatic." I felt trapped. Literally cornered. I sat on the bed, shaking, tears burning my eyes. My friend sat beside him, silent. Not helping. Not defending me. 2 against 1. I said I needed the bathroom and locked myself inside it. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock my phone. I called my baby's father, Corey, sobbing. "They won't let me leave," I whispered. "They won't let me look for my purse." Corey was furious. "Why? That doesn't make sense." "It doesn't," I cried. "That's what I'm saying." While I was on the phone, my friend burst into the bathroom. "We can't hear you," she snapped. "Stop talking shit." That was the moment I realized I was alone. She stormed out. Eventually left entirely. Called an Uber and went home. I stayed. Not because I wanted to, but because I still didn't have my keys. If I left without them, I'd never see them again. Now it was just me and him. I begged again. Asked him to call his friend. Asked for the Uber driver's number. Asked for anything. He screamed at me. "Why are you blaming us? We didn't do anything." I wasn't blaming. I was asking for empathy. For help. Eventually, my friend called me and said, "I'm leaving. You should go." But I couldn't. Because I was trapped. Finally, after what felt like hours, his friend texted him. My purse was in the Uber. I don't even remember leaving the Airbnb. I don't remember the ride home. I just remember sitting in my apartment afterward, shaking, replaying every moment I ignored my instincts. I didn't grow up dating. That's important context. I was the girl who followed rules, went to practice, did homework, and went home. Dating was something other people did. Loud girls, confident girls, girls who knew how to flirt without feeling like they were breaking some kind of law. I wasn't allowed to date until I was 16, and even then, it was heavily supervised, the kind of dating where your parents know his parents and everyone pretends it's normal. So by the time I got to college, I was inexperienced in a way that feels embarrassing to admit now. I didn't know what was normal. I didn't know what was a red flag. I didn't know that sometimes discomfort is the warning, not something you're supposed to push through politely. I met him my freshman year. He wasn't charismatic or charming, just persistent. He kept asking me out, and eventually I said yes because I thought that's what you're supposed to do when someone is interested and hasn't done anything technically wrong. We were trying to decide what to do for the date, and I suggested the movies. It felt safe, public, structured. He immediately pushed back. "That's kind of expensive," he said. That caught me off guard. I didn't even know how to respond. I remember laughing awkwardly and saying, "Oh, okay." We lived near a theater that did $5 Tuesdays. $5. I pointed that out, thinking it would solve the issue. It didn't. He complained anyway. I should have canceled right there, but I didn't. I didn't know you were allowed to cancel, just because something felt off. So we went. When it came time to pick the movie, I suggested something light, Pitch Perfect maybe. Something fun where it didn't matter if we talked a little. He shut it down immediately. "I'm not watching that." He said it so flatly that I felt stupid for suggesting it. He wanted to see a Star Wars movie. One of the newer ones. I hadn't seen most of the franchise. I told him that. I said I probably wouldn't understand what was going on. "We're watching Star Wars," he said. Not suggested. Decided. At the theater, we didn't get popcorn. Or drinks. Or anything. We walked straight past the concession stand like it was forbidden territory. I remember feeling strangely embarrassed, like we were doing something wrong by not participating in the ritual of movie snacks. The theater was dark and mostly empty. We sat down, and immediately he tried to hold my hand. I didn't want to. I wasn't comfortable. But I didn't know how to say no without making it weird, so I let my hand go limp in his. He kept adjusting, interlocking fingers, squeezing, as if trying to force intimacy through persistence. The movie started, and I had no idea what was happening. Characters appeared who clearly had history. People gasped at reveals I didn't understand. He leaned over at one point and whispered something like, "This is a huge moment," as if I'd failed a test. About halfway through, I realized something that made my stomach twist. He wasn't watching the movie anymore. He was watching me. Every time I shifted, every time I leaned away, every time I pulled my hand back to my lap, his grip tightened again. He kept inching closer, his knee pressing against mine. Not aggressively. Just enough that I noticed. Just enough that it felt intentional. I sat there frozen, staring at the screen, wishing the movie would end, wishing I had driven myself instead of letting him walk me there. When the credits finally rolled, relief washed over me so intensely it was almost dizzying. We stood up, and I could feel it, the expectation. The moment where something was supposed to happen. In the lobby, under the bright lights, he turned toward me, too close, his body angled in a way that blocked my path forward. And then my phone rang. My uncle. To this day, I don't know why he called me at that exact moment. He never calls. Ever. But there he was, my phone buzzing like divine intervention. "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," I said quickly, already stepping away. "I have to take this." I answered immediately, and didn't even pretend to listen. I just kept walking. Past him. Past the doors. Out into the cold air. I didn't look back. I walked straight to my car, hands shaking as I unlocked it, heart pounding like I'd just escaped something I couldn't quite name. I got inside, locked the doors, and sat there for a minute staring at my reflection in the rearview mirror. I felt ridiculous. Nothing had happened. He hadn't yelled. He hadn't grabbed me. He hadn't done anything dramatic enough to justify how unsettled I felt. And yet, my whole body was buzzing with the need to be somewhere safe. I drove home and never went out with him again. He texted a few times afterward, confused, offended, asking what he'd done wrong. I didn't answer. Years later, I understand it better. The discomfort wasn't about the movie, or the snacks, or even the hand-holding. It was about being overridden. Every choice I made that night had been dismissed. Where we went, what we watched, How much money was too much. Even how close he sat to me. He didn't want a date. He wanted compliance. And I didn't know back then that it was okay to walk away the moment someone stops listening. I know now. And that knowledge didn't come from a dramatic story or a near-death experience. It came from a $5 Tuesday, a movie I didn't understand, and the quiet relief of a phone call that saved me from staying longer than I should have. The thing is, he was nice. I need that on record. Before everything else. He was attentive. He asked questions. He listened, or at least seemed to. He didn't interrupt, didn't brag, didn't make me feel like I had to earn the space I was taking up. And that's what made it hard to explain later. Because when you tell people a man became obsessive, they expect an early warning sign. A twitch, a flinch, a red flag you ignored. But Callum Sykes smiled softly, laughed at his own awkwardness, and told me he liked lemon cake because it reminded him of his grandmother. He seemed harmless. Until he wasn't. We met the way people meet now, an app. His messages were simple. Just enough punctuation to feel thoughtful, not so polished that I felt like I was being interviewed. He asked about my work, I'm a graphic designer, and didn't respond with, "Oh, so you're an artsy type, like so many others." He said, "That's cool. I'd love to see how your brain works." Which felt flattering at the time. We agreed to meet for coffee. Low stakes. Daylight. Table between us. Safe. The date was nice. That's the word I keep coming back to. He was a little too eager, but not in a way that made me uncomfortable. Just leaning in too often. Smiling a little too hard when I spoke. Laughing too loudly at jokes that weren't really jokes. We shared a slice of lemon cake. I offered the last bite. He declined. He said, "I want you to have it." I said, "We can split it." He said, "You're generous." I like that. By the end of the hour, I was ready to go. Not because anything was wrong. Just because I'd had enough social energy for one afternoon. Outside, he offered to walk me to the station. I didn't say no. It was raining lightly. He held his coat over both our heads. Cute, if you're in the mood for that kind of thing. At the station entrance, he paused. I knew what was coming. So I stepped back and smiled gently. "Not tonight. Let's take things slow." I said it kindly. Not as a test. Not as a rejection. Just a boundary. He nodded. Smiled tightly. "Of course," he said. And I thought that was it. Until my phone buzzed. 30 minutes later. Just wanted to say I had a great time. I replied, "Me too. Thanks for walking me." 2 minutes later. Was worried I read the signals wrong. Did I do something wrong? I didn't reply right away. Then, "You seemed really into it. I just want clarity." Followed by, "Please don't ghost me. You're not like other girls. Please don't be like other girls. I just want to understand." I felt something. Did you? By the time I got home, I had 12 messages. And 32 missed calls. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. I didn't feel scared. Not yet. Just confused. Disappointed. And tired. I turned off my phone. Ran a bath. Let myself float for a while in silence. I tried to tell myself it was just poor judgment. An anxious guy. Maybe a bad day. Maybe he drank too much coffee. But part of me knew. Knew what this kind of need smelled like. Knew what it meant when a man turned your "not tonight" into a referendum on his worth. The next morning, I turned my phone back on. Instagram notifications flooded in. Callum had found me. He'd liked every public photo I'd posted in the last 2 years. All 143 of them. From my graduation photo to my niece's 3rd birthday party, to a picture of my avocado toast from 2018. I hadn't told him my handle, but it wasn't hard to find. My name isn't common, and my account isn't private. I use it to share design work sometimes. Most of the likes came between 1 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. I felt my stomach knot. It wasn't the volume. It was the intent. The digital equivalent of pressing your face against someone's window at night and saying, "I just want to understand." I didn't respond. I archived all my posts. Set my account to private. Then I told myself to move on. He hadn't threatened me. Hadn't shown up. Hadn't sent anything violent or explicit. But that's the thing about obsession. It doesn't have to explode to be dangerous. Sometimes it just lingers. Fills the air like smoke. The messages continued. Not constantly, but enough. "Hey, I just want to talk. Closure would be nice. You said we could take things slow. This feels like silence. I deserve better than being ignored." And then eventually, "Fine. I get it. You're just like the rest. I didn't reply, but I didn't feel done, because I knew he wasn't. A week later, I ran into him. By coincidence, maybe, but it didn't feel that way. I was at a bookstore near my flat. The kind of place that smells like dust and ink and warm paper. I go there on Sundays. It's part of my routine. He was in the poetry section. He turned the moment I walked past. "Maya," he said too casually. My breath caught. He smiled. "Didn't know you came here." I didn't answer. Didn't ask what he was doing there. Didn't say it was public, sure, but also personal. He held up a book. "I was just thinking about you." I nodded. "I have to go." He stepped closer. "Can we just talk?" I shook my head. "No." He looked wounded. "Just 5 minutes. I don't owe you anything." He clenched his jaw. "I was respectful. I walked you to the station. I didn't push. You called me 32 times. That's not respectful." His voice dropped. "You could have just said you weren't interested." I did. He stared at me, then said, "You're overreacting." I walked away. He didn't follow, but he didn't leave either. I watched him from the window. He stayed in the shop for another 30 minutes. Not reading. Just standing. I changed my routine after that. Different cafe. Different grocery store. I started carrying a small keychain alarm. I told 2 of my friends and sent them his photo. "Just in case," I said. They didn't laugh. I didn't hear from him again. Not directly, but I saw he'd made a new account. Followed me again, under a different name. Then unfollowed. Then followed again. Like he wanted me to know he was still watching. Still there. Still orbiting. It's been 6 months. I haven't been on a date since. I still check the locks twice each night. Still flinch when my phone rings from an unknown number. Still think about how quickly attention can turn into possession. Still hear his voice when I try to explain why he didn't touch me isn't the whole story. Because what he wanted wasn't sex or romance or connection. What he wanted was control, and I didn't give it to him. I still believe in kindness, but I no longer mistake insistence for sincerity. And when someone says, "You're not like other girls," I say, "Good," and leave. I met Eddie on a Sunday morning, under a canopy of sun-ripened peaches and overpriced artisanal honey. He offered to help me carry my crate of peonies. That should have been my first clue. No man volunteers to carry 30 pounds of flowers unless he's trying to impress someone, or hide something. But I was tired, and he was smiling, and the crate was heavy. So I said yes. I'm a florist. I run a small shop in East Dulwich that smells like eucalyptus and Old Hope. I believe in good arrangements and better meet cuties. I've built a career around beauty, which means I'm always slightly suspicious of it. But Eddie had that warm, approachable kind of handsomeness, the kind that doesn't feel like a trick. He said he was starting over. I assumed that meant a breakup or a career change, or maybe just a new flat and some impulse-purchased furniture. He didn't elaborate, and I didn't press. I liked that he didn't overshare. Most men on dating apps treat you like a therapist with benefits. He asked if I'd like to get lunch. I said yes before thinking about it too long. We went to a cafe down the street. He ordered a goat cheese tart and asked me about the first bouquet I ever sold. I told him about the funeral arrangement I made in college, how the lilies bloomed too soon, how I cried when the client hugged me. He didn't laugh. He said, "You feel things deeply, don't you?" I smiled. I try not to. He didn't offer his last name. I didn't notice. We went on 4 dates. Each one felt like a scene from a film that was too well written to be real. Date 1, the farmer's market. Date 2, a record shop followed by a walk along the river. Date 3, he brought wine and we drank it in the park, lying on his coat. Date 4, tapas in Soho, where he told me I had an old soul and a young smile. I rolled my eyes, but I liked it anyway. He never invited me to his place. Said it was a mess or in renovation or too far from wherever we happened to be. He always picked me up. He never let me call him after 9 p.m. I chalked it up to boundaries, or introversion, or maybe just a man who liked to keep things slow. I didn't ask too many questions. I was enjoying the story too much. The scarf incident happened on a Tuesday. We were driving back from a late lunch in Hampstead. It had started to drizzle, one of those lazy, sideways London rains that makes you feel like the sky's just bored. I'd taken off my scarf and tossed it somewhere in the front seat. He dropped me off outside my shop, leaned over to kiss me on the cheek, and then drove away. 20 minutes later, I realized I'd left the scarf in his car. I texted, "Hey, I think I left my scarf in the car. Mind if I grab it sometime? He replied less than a minute later. Sure. It's in the glove compartment. I'll swing by tomorrow, but if you're near, just grab it. I almost waited. But the rain had stopped, and I was only a 10-minute walk from where he'd parked. So I went. His car was unlocked. That surprised me. I opened the passenger door, sat down, and reached toward the glove compartment. The scarf was there, crumpled, slightly damp. So were a pair of women's sunglasses, a school newsletter, and a wedding ring. Not just any ring. A gold band, simple and scuffed, resting right on top of the papers like a forgotten truth. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. The newsletter was titled, Langston Primary, May Edition. I stared at the name printed in bold at the top, the Langston Family Newsletter. Langston. Eddie Langston. I felt nauseous, and very, very awake. I closed the glove compartment slowly, walked back to my shop, locked the door behind me, sat behind the counter, and stared at a bouquet of tulips that suddenly looked ridiculous. Then I texted him, Your wife must love the peonies. He didn't reply. I didn't expect him to. 30 minutes later, his number went out of service. I didn't cry. Not at first. I just felt cold, like I'd been standing outside the whole time, and didn't realize I was soaked until I stopped moving. I told Maya, my best friend, the next morning. She listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't say, I told you so. When I finished, she just said, God, I hate men named Eddie. We laughed. It wasn't funny, but we laughed anyway. For a week, I replayed every moment. The way he never let me take photos of us. I looked terrible on camera. The way he always had an excuse to leave early. The time he got a call in the middle of dinner, stepped away, and came back saying, Sorry, just work stuff. He'd been married the whole time. Had children. A school newsletter, for Christ's sake. I wondered what he told his wife. I wondered if she knew. I wondered how many other women had sat in that passenger seat and reached for the glove compartment thinking they'd find something small and harmless. I didn't report him. He hadn't broken any laws. Just my trust. And maybe his vows. I didn't want to be the woman who called and said, Your husband kissed me on a tartan blanket in Hyde Park. I didn't want to be part of her unraveling, even if mine had already begun. Instead, I did what I always do when something hurts. I arranged flowers. I made a bouquet called Closure. Peonies naturally. Dahlias for strength. Blue thistle for protection. A single forget-me-not, tucked where only I could see. I didn't sell it. I kept it behind the counter for a month. 2 weeks later, a woman came into my shop. She was tall, with tired eyes and a wedding ring. She asked for a bouquet, something bright. My daughter's got a recital. I asked her name for the order slip. She said Langston. My stomach turned. I looked at her hands, then at her face. I didn't say anything, just made the bouquet. Tulips and sunflowers wrapped in soft paper. When I handed it to her, she smiled and said, These are beautiful. I'm glad I found this place. I said, So am I. She left. I never saw her again. Sometimes I wonder if she knew. Sometimes I hope she doesn't. Sometimes I hope she does. I still believe in meet cuties. But I keep my eyes open now. I ask last names. I check glove compartments. And I never, ever assume that a man carrying flowers understands what they mean. It started with a DM that felt benign enough. Hey, I know this is a little forward, but I saw your post about trying new places in Islington. There's a great little Italian spot I've been meaning to check out. Want to join me? His profile was clean. A few photos, one hiking, one in a suit, one blurry shot of a dog that may or may not have been his. His name was Derek. He spelled "you're" correctly. That's more than I can say for most of the messages I get. I checked our mutuals, none, scanned for red flags, none obvious, and replied, Sure. I'm free Thursday. Sometimes I say yes just to prove I still can. The restaurant was dimly lit, the kind of place with too many framed photos on the walls and menus that folded like tiny maps. I arrived 5 minutes early. Derek walked in exactly on time, wearing a crisp button-down and holding a duffel bag. Odd choice for dinner, I thought. He greeted me with a smile that was almost too wide and a hug that lingered slightly too long. I got us a booth, he said, gesturing to the back corner. More privacy. I followed him, my gut already whispering something I didn't yet want to hear. We sat. The waiter brought water and a complimentary bowl of breadsticks. I reached for one. That's when he unzipped the duffel bag and pulled out 6 silver sachets. He laid them on the table between us like we were about to perform a seance or barter in a post-apocalyptic economy. I froze mid-breadstick. "What's this?" I asked. He grinned. "Just something exciting I've been working on." I looked down. Each sachet was labeled with words like Vital Burn, Neuromax, and Sleep Slim. The kind of branding that screams late-night infomercial energy. "I thought this was dinner," I said. "It is," he said. "But I also wanted to talk to you about something. You've got great energy. The kind of energy that sells." I blinked. "I'm sorry, sells?" He leaned in, lowering his voice like we were conspiring, not colliding. "It's not just a product. It's a movement. I'm building a team, and you seem like someone who gets it." I stared at him. "Is this a job interview?" "It's both," he said, smiling. "If you're open-minded." Let me rewind. My name's Zara. I'm a marketing assistant at a boutique agency that mostly rebrands wellness influencers and boutique candle companies. I'm good at what I do. I know how to read people, how to decode their tells, predict their pivot points. I know when someone is performing confidence and when they're just trying to sell me something. Derek? He was trying to do both. "Let me show you something," he said, pulling out a tablet. Before I could object, he launched into a PowerPoint presentation. On a date, at an Italian restaurant. The first slide said, "Redesign your life." The second, "The old way is broken." The third, "Imagine an oh boss. No limits. No ceiling." I took a slow sip of my water. "I thought we were going to order food," I said. "We can," he replied. "But don't you want to feed your future first?" I stared at him. He talked for 20 minutes straight. About his team. About ground floor opportunities. About passive income. About how people waste their potential working for someone else's dream. He quoted Elon Musk. He used the phrase financial freedom 7 times. He said, "Women in this business thrive. You're naturally persuasive." I said, "Because we've been taught to be likable to survive." He didn't laugh. He just handed me a sachet labeled Glow Fuel and said, "This one's our best seller for women." I put it down. He kept going. I asked, "What do you actually do?" He replied, "I empower others to build their own economy." I said, "That's not a job title." He smiled like I just didn't get it. I didn't stay for dessert. When the waiter came over, I ordered a sparkling water and asked for the bill. Derek looked surprised. "You're leaving?" "I thought this was a date," I said. "Not a recruitment pitch." He laughed. "You're overreacting. This is a chance. Most people would kill for this." I stood up. "That's your problem," I said. "You think everyone's a prospect. Not a person." He didn't argue. He just looked annoyed, like I'd wasted his time. He messaged me later that night. "You missed out on a business partnership. Women with your attitude never get rich." I blocked him, then told my friends. We laughed, until one of them said, "Wait, was it Derek with the sachets?" And another replied, "Oh my God. He took me to a sushi place. Same pitch." And another, "He tried to sell me protein powder in the middle of a dog park." We made a group chat called Sachet Survivors. By the end of the week, it had 7 members. I wish I could say I was surprised, but I've worked in marketing long enough to know how easily ambition can become a script. How some people rehearse charisma instead of developing character. How they think opportunity is something you offer in exchange for attention, not respect. A few weeks later, I saw him again. Different cafe. Same duffel bag. He was seated with a new woman, smiling like he'd just cracked the code to her soul. I walked past without stopping, but I left a sachet of Glow Fuel on their table as I passed. No words. Just a warning. I still go on dates. But now, when someone says I have something exciting to share, I ask, with sincerity or with slides? Because I'm not interested in being recruited. I'm interested in being seen.